Hello, and welcome back to Always Ours, Chapter 5, Going Forward. Summary. Splinter decides to go forward. Even if his sons don't remember him, he can still care about them, and learn to care for this class. But something else has changed. The apartment he shares with Hisashi is both too quiet and too loud. He hasn't lived in an apartment since he was a small pet rat. He is far more accustomed to cold sewer floors, warmed by scraps of blanket and discarded clothes that humans never noticed were missing, makeshift nests he'd built when his sons were young and still pressed against him for warmth in the night. When they grew older, he'd switch to the closest thing they could salvage to a tatami mat, a worn gym mat pulled from someone's trash. He hadn't owned a real bed until after his sons were teenagers. Even then he'd rarely used it, only in the coldest New York winters. Apparently this version of him, the one who had known and trusted Hisashi and Nezu, had been given something else entirely, a room that was almost den-like, soft pillows, blankets that smelled faintly of both of them, a proper traditional futon. They'd been careful with him in ways he hadn't earned yet. The apartment is close to UA, which makes sense, but is far enough from the main roads that the sounds of rushing cars and the subway, his old lullabies, are absent. The quiet unnerves him, even as it soothes. He'd always valued rare silence back home, but only for meditation. Now the absence of sound is just absence. He misses Donatello tinkering past midnight, the shing of blades when Leonardo and Raphael barred past curfew, Michelangelo's restless scurrying, never content to stay still for long, April's check-ins, even, he will never admit this aloud, Casey Jones storming in to drag Raphael into whatever chaos he'd found that week. The room smells too clean. He spent decades learning New York's particular combination of sewer water and smog and hot dog food carts, and now it's simply gone. But whenever the complaint forms in his mind, he thinks of his sons laughing, Donatello welcomed into a school without question, Michelangelo glowing in a kitchen that wanted him, Leonardo unburdened. He swallows the complaint. He settles into meditation, seeking stillness, but the questions follow him down. Why am I the only one that remembers? Why am I the only one who knows we don't belong? And underneath those, which he likes least. Why can't I simply be happy that they are happy? A good father would be, he thinks. He had always wished for his sons to find peace, and now that they have it, so why does he grieve the life they've lost, when they don't know to miss it? He can still be their sensei. He can still watch them grow, still mean something to them, even if he is not their father in their eyes. He owes this class his full presence. They didn't ask for whatever had happened to bring him here, and they deserve better than a teacher lost in his own grief. He surfaces from his thoughts to find Hisashi waiting, leaning against the door for him with the patient expression of someone who has been there for a while. The old weariness bristles. He pushes it down. Hey, Hisashi says. You okay? Fine. You can tell me things, you know. That's what I'm here for. Splinter considers the wall for a minute. Then, what would you do if you woke tomorrow and the people you cared about most not only didn't remember you, but were genuinely, visibly happier without you in their lives? Hisashi is quiet long enough that Splinter thinks he's overstepped. Then Hisashi exhales, slow and a little sad. I don't know if I'd do well, honestly. I'd probably be pretty miserable for a while. Upbeat. But I think, eventually, if you really care about someone, their happiness matters more than whatever they remember to credit you for it. That's not nothing, right? Caring, even when they don't know you're doing it. It's not a perfect answer, but it is an honest one. Thank you, Hisashi. Don't mention it. He pauses. Seriously, don't. You'll ruin my whole laid-back persona. Splinter arrives at UA to find Nezu pacing at the teacher's entrance, which in his experience means either good news delivered at high speed or a scheme already in motion. Ah, good! You're here! Netsu falls into a step beside him. Have you given any thought to my invitation? Which invitation? A brief pause. Netsu's ears flattened just slightly. Tea! This morning! After homeroom! I mentioned it last night. I don't recall that conversation. No. Oh. The world is carefully neutral, but something shifts in Netsu's expression. Recalculation rather than hurt. Well, if you're unavailable, then there's no obligation. Splinter watches him for a moment. This is a creature who has survived worse than rejection and learned to treat everything as information. The flattened ears were genuine. The recovery was immediate. Both things are true at once. If someone can cover my class while the students train, I have no objection. From somewhere behind him, Hisashi's grin is almost audible before he speaks. I'll take 'em. The certainty of it, the speed, the readiness, prickles at something below Splinter's conscious thought. Irat knows the difference between a coincidence and a corridor. He cannot say yet which this is. Perfect, Netsu says, already moving. After homeroom, then. Splinter watches him go. Two things now that he remembers differently than the world insists they happened. The tea invitation he has no memory of receiving. And something else beneath that, vaguer, the sense that the sheep of this morning was already decided before he arrived in it. He files it away. He will need more data before he knows what to do with it. Journal entry number 3. Testing whether I can affect something more specific. Feelings, not just circumstances. Netsu has always been alone. He's a good person, and he deserves someone. And Splinter needs grounding, something to make him want to stay. I think they'd be good together. I've nudged things in that direction. I just want everyone to be happy. That's all this is. And that's the end of that chapter.